I've put the top players from every single team onto their rival, and we're going to see what happens to the entire league. How it works is I'm taking the top 3 players from each team and then putting one of these 3 players on the top 3 rivals. Basically what I used for this was this Reddit thread that was conducted 3 years ago, and it gave me the top 3 rivals of every team except for Seattle, seeing as Seattle only came to the league last season. It's also important to note that goaltenders weren't involved in the top 3 players, just because it gets really messy moving goaltenders around in NHL 23. If you want to take a look at this thread, it will be linked down below, so let's just get right into it. With our very first spin, we're going to see the Winnipeg Jets, and they're going to be taking on one of their rival teams in the Minnesota Wild. Looking at the Winnipeg Jets, of course, they're going to be losing some important pieces in Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor to the forward core, but luckily they're going to be getting replaced by guys like Philip Forsberg and Mark Stone. The defense is also taking a hit as Josh Morrissey's leading the team, but they're going to be bringing Jonas Brodin in to replace him. The Minnesota Wild forward core took a massive hit, but luckily Nathan McKinnon's going to be joining the team. And looking at the defense, they're going to be taking Josh Morrissey away from the Winnipeg Jets. Pyong is going to get the scoring started late in the first period, and in the second, Pierre-Luc Dubois is taking over. He's picking up 2 goals while Perfet's picking up the other, and now Winnipeg has a 4-0 lead heading into the final 20 minutes. Dubois is going to be able to finish up the hat-trick as he's picking up a power play goal halfway through the third period, and Winnipeg is going to be cruising to a 5-0 victory. Well, it would be a 5-0 victory, but Minnesota is going to score in the final seconds, so it's actually a 5-1 win. But the final score doesn't really matter because we're going to be taking a player away from the Minnesota Wild, and that's going to be Nathan McKinnon. Moving on to our next matchup, the Chicago Blackhawks are on the move next, and they're going to be taking on the Detroit Red Wings. The forward core for Chicago is getting a massive boost as they're picking up guys like Matt Zuccarello, Dylan Larkin, and Jordan Kyrou. And the defense is also going to be getting a boost as we're going to see Quinn Hughes join the team. Moving over to the Detroit Red Wings, they're not going to be getting quite as big of a boost as Patrick Laine is going to be the only guy helping the forward core. And looking at the defense, there is one small change as Caleb Jones has joined the team. Detroit and Chicago are going to be exchanging goals in the first period. After a scoreless second, Chicago is going to be taking over as they're going to be picking up 3 goals in the third period, and then they're going to cap it off in the final seconds as they're picking up the empty net goal, so they're taking this one 5-2. And with them beating the Detroit Red Wings, we're going to be bringing Patrick Laine onto the team. Moving into our first matchup in the Eastern Conference, Tampa Bay is on the move first. And ironically, this is going to work out perfect as they're going to be taking on the Stanley Cup finalist Florida Panthers. Who would have thought? Not me, I can tell you that for free. And if you were like me and didn't predict the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup final, then you have to subscribe to the channel. And if you're part of the 75% people that aren't subbed to the channel, what are you doing? Subscribe right now. It's free, you'll be notified of when I upload, and it helps more than you can imagine. It should be no surprise the forward core for the Tampa Bay Lightning is taking a hit with Kucherov and Braden Point leading the team. I also want to mention this because I already know there's going to be 900 comments. When I went to the player movement tab, I took the top 3 players that weren't goaltenders. Braden Point was ahead of Steven Stamkos when I did this. That's the reason why Braden Point got moved and not Stammer. Just saying that now because I already know there's going to be comments about it. Although the defense is losing Victor Hedman, they're not going to go out sorry, so they're going to bring in Charlie McAvoy. So here we are looking at the Florida Panthers, and here's Braden Point. And on the defense, nobody. The only team that views Florida as a rival is Tampa. Verhaeghe's going to get the goal scoring started late in the first period, and in the second, we're going to see a ton of goals from the 2 teams. Florida's going to be picking up 2, while Tampa's picking up 3, so we have ourselves a tie game entering the final 20 minutes. And we're not going to need 20 minutes in the third period. We only need 56 seconds. Stamkos is picking up 2 goals, Brendan Hagel's going to be picking up the other one, he's completing the hat-trick, and Tampa's going on to take this game 6-3. Since guys like Barkov and Ekblad aren't on the Florida Panthers anymore, we're just bringing Braden Point back to the team. Sticking in the Eastern Conference, the New Jersey Devils are on the move next, and they're going to be taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. The Devils are going to be losing some key pieces to the forward core. I'm talking about guys like Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt, but it's not like they're getting nothing because Sebastian Aho is going to be joining the team. And looking at the defense, they're going to be adding Adam Fox from the New York Rangers after losing Dougie Hamilton, and they also got Ryan Ellis. So this team might be in a better position now that their defense is better. The Carolina Hurricanes are getting a massive downgrade. Seshnikov's gone, Aho's gone, and Martin Necas is gone. And to replace all 3 of those guys, that's going to be Jesper Bratt. So you might be thinking, oh, they probably picked up some good defensemen. Nope. Defense is the exact same. So we lost 3 players and got Jesper Bratt in return. I don't think Carolina's going to be lasting too long. Carolina and New Jersey are going to be exchanging goals in the first period, and it looks like those are going to be the only goals through 60 minutes, so we're going to need a bit of overtime. In overtime, Kotkaniemi's going to collect the puck in the corner, and he's going to quickly dish it over to Kasha. Kasha's getting a weak backhander off, but for some reason, Vanacek's way out of position. This one's getting past him, and somehow the Carolina Hurricanes are surviving another day. No clue how that just happened. Instead of bringing Sebastian Aho to the team, I'm going to go with Adam Fox, and I'm bringing a Norris finalist onto the team. We're finally going to be seeing our first Canadian team. That's going to be the Montreal Canadiens, and they're going to have their hands full with the New York Rangers. But it might not be as bad as I thought because Montreal, they have a ton of rivals, so this team's going to be looking pretty solid. DeBrincat Matthews and David Pastrnak are all coming to the team, and looking at the defense, they're also going to be bringing in Aaron Ekblad. So I don't think we can sleep on these Montreal Canadiens anymore. But one team you definitely can't sleep on is the New York Rangers. Jack Hughes is now here, Matt Barzal here, Travis Konecny, Martin Necas. No, this is probably the strongest forward core we're going to be seeing today. Although they're losing Adam Fox on the defensive end, they're still going to be able to find a replacement for him, and that's going going to be John Carlson. In the first period, we're going to see Austin Matthews and Chris Kreider exchanging goals. And in the second, we're going to have two different guys exchanging goals, and that's going to be Vladimir Tarasenko and Aaron Ekblad. In the third period, two of Montreal's own are going to be picking up goals, and in the final seconds of the third period, Guryanov's going to be picking up the empty netter, so Montreal's going to be stealing this one away 5-2. Although the New York Rangers have a ton of forward talent, I'm going to pass on all those guys, and I'm going to go with Igor Shesterkin at a 92 overall. So just to make this clear, I can select a goalie after the team beats them, but I didn't move goalies when it came to organizing the rivals. We're going to keep on going. We've got the Washington Capitals on the attack next, and they're going to be taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Washington's seen a ton of new faces to the team of Evgeny Malkin, Svechnikov, and Bo Horvat, and on the defensive end, Zach Werenski's here to take over. So normally I would say you don't have to worry about the Philadelphia Flyers. This team's not going to be doing anything. But now we've added a bunch of talent to the team. Sidney Crosby's here, Patty Kane's here, Alex Tuch and Evgeny Kuznetsov are joining the team. And on the defensive end, Dougie Hamilton's here to lead the charge. So this might be a sleeper team because they still got a solid goaltender in Carter Hart. Oshie and Kuznetsov are going to be exchanging goals in the first period. And in the second period, we're going to see the same thing happen except with two different players. This time it's going to be Tom Wilson and Tony DeAngelo. In the third period, we continue to see a trend as once again Philly and Washington are going to be exchanging goals, so we're going to need a bit of overtime. 6 minutes into overtime, Kuznetsov's going to get the puck in the slot and he's getting a quick shot off. Joel Farabee's going to be right there for the rebound. He's going to collect that and he's going to be ending this game for Philly. And with that Flyers win, they're going to be claiming Svechnikov away from the Washington Capitals. Moving back over to the Western Conference, we have the Los Angeles Kings taking on the Anaheim Ducks. Although the Kings lost some important pieces to their forward core, they're going to be adding Clayton Keller, Tomas Hertl, and Troy Terry. And on the defensive end, with Drew Doughty gone, Alex Pietrangelo is going to be slotting into that role. The Anaheim Ducks are going to be getting some massive upgrades. Rupe Hintz has joined the team, Leon Draisaitl and Logan Couture. The forward core is looking much better than what it was before. And on the defensive end, Rasmus Anderson and Drew Doughty are now the #1 pairing, so this team's not looking completely awful. It's still not a good team, but it's way better than what it was before. Okay, maybe not, because after a scoreless first period, LA is going to be scoring 3 unanswered, and they've let themselves a 3-0 lead entering the final 20 minutes. What happened? In the third period, the goal scoring would continue for LA. They're picking up another 2 goals, and this game's all wrapped up. LA's taking this one 5-0. Nah, I shouldn't have hyped the Anaheim Ducks up. I should have known better. And although he did nothing in his Anaheim Ducks debut, I can't pass on this guy, so Leon Draisaitl, welcome to the team. Moving on over to the Central Division, the Dallas Stars are going to be on the move next, and they're taking on the St. Louis Blues. The Dallas Stars are going to have no issue replacing Jason Robinson and Rupe Hintz because they're bringing Robert Thomas onto the team. So I mean, if you ask me, Robert Thomas is better than both those guys combined. This is a joke, by the way. Obviously, Robert Thomas is not better than both of those guys combined. He's better than the entire Dallas Stars team combined. But the one thing that definitely is going to be hurting this Dallas Stars team is their defense. Because now that Miro Heiskanen's not here to lead the way, they're going to struggle a bit. Looking at the St. Louis Blues, this team is respectfully cooked. Nah, look at this first line. Verana, Shen, and Rantanen. Although Rantanen's a nice pickup, this team's not looking good. But there is one thing that could save this team. The defense. Roman Josi, Miro Heiskanen, Seth Jones, Colton Parenko, Torrey Krug, Justin Falk. That's a pretty solid defense if you ask me. And we got a guy like Jordan Binnington in between the pipes. We'll just leave it at that. After a scoreless first period, Voracek's going to get Dallas on the board first, so we're entering the final 20 minutes in a 1-0 game. But eventually the St. Louis Blues are going to be getting on the board, so we're entering the final moments in a tied game. But it looks like this game's not going to need overtime because with 30 seconds left in the game, Roman Josi's going to get the feed from behind the net. He's going to do a nice little toe drag move. He's burying this one in the back of the net, and St. Louis is taking this one 2-1. And of course, we have to bring him back to the team. Robert Thomas. I missed you, my guy. I'm passing up on absolutely everyone else on that Dallas Stars team. I gotta bring you to the team. You're the heart and soul of St. Louis. Another Canadian team's looking to get in the mix, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are on the attack next, and they're going to be taking on the Boston Bruins. Although Toronto's losing their big three, they got some good replacements in Brad Marchand, Cole Caulfield, and Brady Tkachuk. And on the defensive end, they got Victor Hedman and Mo Seider. Overall, this team's much better off now. And the Boston Bruins are also no slouches because they're adding massive pieces in William Nylander, Nick Suzuki, and Kucherov. And that's just for the forward core because Rasmus Dahlin's also going to be joining the team. In the first period, Boston and Toronto are going to be exchanging goals, but in the second, Brady Tkachuk's going to be picking up 2 goals, and now the Leafs have a 1-goal lead entering the final 20 minutes. With 5 minutes left in the game, Garrett Hathaway's going to be picking up a goal, and he's evening this one up, so that means we're going to need a bit of overtime. In the late stages of overtime, Rasmus Dahlin's going to be entering the offensive zone. He's going to get the feed from Taylor Hall. With Dahlin being the trailing man, he's going to get a quick shot off, which is beating Samsonov, and the Boston Bruins are taking down the Leafs in a 4-3 game. Although we could have picked up a great defenseman from the Toronto Maple Leafs team, I'm going to pass on them because I'm bringing Brad Marchand back to the team. A Bruins legend. I can't pass up on him. We're sticking in the Atlantic Division with our next matchup as the Buffalo Sabres are on the move next, and they're going to be taking on the Ottawa Senators. And you might notice the Ottawa Senators are the only team left on this wheel. That's because the other 2 teams that Buffalo's a rival with have already played their first round games, and Ottawa's the only one left. So who is rivals with the Buffalo Sabres? No one. Apparently nobody is a rival with this team. No upgrades to the forward core, no upgrades to the defense. This team just lost its 3 best players. Keep in mind, the rivals weren't decided by me. It was decided by NHL fans. Moving on from the Buffalo Sabres, the Ottawa Senators are getting a massive upgrade. Tage Thompson and Mitch Martin are going to be joining the forward core, but on the defensive end, they're not seeing any upgrades, so Thomas Chabot's going to have to lead the way. So there should be no surprise, Ottawa's going to be dominating this game, and they're going to be scoring 3 unanswered in the first period. But the real question is, why is the clock at 20 minutes and 14 seconds for the second period? I just noticed that now as I'm doing the voiceover. That doesn't make any sense. Buffalo would finally be able to get on the board late in the second period, but it's still a 3-goal game, and in the third period, these two teams are going to be exchanging goals once again, so it's no surprise Ottawa's taking down the Buffalo Sabres. And from the Buffalo Sabres, Jeff Skinner is going to be joining the Ottawa Senators. Moving back up to Canada, the Edmonton Oilers on the move next, and they're taking on the Vancouver Canucks. So this Edmonton Oilers team is looking absolutely chopped. You lost McDavid, you lost Draisaitl, you lost the Nuge, and you're replacing them all with Elias Lindholm. On the defensive end, you are getting an upgrade with Hronek, but no, this team's cooked. Looking at the Vancouver Canucks, based on the forward core, you might think this team's pretty solid. They added Jonathan Huberdeau, added Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. The forward core is looking pretty solid. Then you have their defense. Ethan Bear is their best defenseman, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson's their second best defenseman. I'm just going to keep it a stack, Edmonton. If you lose to this team, even though you don't have Draisaitl, McDavid, or Nuge, you should be embarrassed. Wow, that is incredibly tough. You are getting cooked by the Vancouver Canucks. After a scoreless second period, Yamark's going to try to keep this game close, so it's a 1-goal game heading into the final seconds. But Edmonton's not coming back in this game. You lost to the Vancouver Canucks, who literally didn't have a defense. You hate to see it, you really do. But luckily, Vancouver's going to be able to upgrade their defense, so they're going to add Hronek to the team. Colorado's the next team up, and they're going to be taking on their final rival in the Nashville Predators. The Colorado offense is going to be taking a massive hit, losing Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen, but luckily they're not going to go out without nothing because they are picking up Kirill Kaprizov. On the defensive end, you lost Cale Makar and you replaced him with nobody. So this team's taking quite a few steps back. The Nashville Predators, on the other hand, they're taking quite a few steps forward. Jason Robertson's added to the forward core along with Buchnevich, Kyle Connor, and Jonathan Taves. On the defensive end, you might think you're in bad shape because you lost Roman Josi, but you just replaced him with Cale Makar. So I would say things are looking pretty solid for you guys. Ryan Johansson is going to be picking up the lone goal in the first period, but Lars Eller is going to be responding with a shorthanded goal in the second, so this game's all tied up entering the final 20 minutes. Early in the third period, Rodriguez and Lehkonen are going to be picking up some quick goals, so Colorado's got a 3-1 lead entering the final seconds, but just in case 3 goals isn't enough from this team, Kirill Kaprizov's going to bury the empty netter, and they're taking this one 4-1. It's a no-brainer who we're going to be taking away from the Nashville Predators. Cale Makar, welcome back to the Colorado Avalanche. San Jose is going to be the next attacking team, and they're taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. The San Jose Sharks are getting a handful of upgrades with Trevor Zegras, Jack Eichel, and Anze Kopitar joining the team. On the defensive end, they're going to be taking a massive hit, losing Erik Karlsson, and he's not going to be replaced by anyone. The Vegas Golden Knights offense is going to be suffering a bit because they're losing Jack Eichel and Mark Stone, but luckily they're going to be adding Mark Scheifele and Nick Schmaltz to the team. On the defensive end, they're easily going to find a replacement for Alex Pietrangelo, and that's going to be Erik Karlsson. Vegas is going to be picking up the first 2 goals of the game, and in the second, they're going to be picking up another 2, but San Jose is finally getting on the board, but this is still a 3-goal game heading into the third period. In the third period, Mark Scheifele's locking in. He's potting 2 goals in 8 seconds, and the Vegas Golden Knights are going to cruise to a 6-1 win. And with Vegas winning this game, they're bringing back one of their own in Jack Eichel. Our next matchup is going to see the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now I feel incredibly bad for the Columbus Blue Jackets because this team's losing 3 crucial pieces, and they're not getting replaced. The forward core isn't going to be adding anyone, but luckily on the defense, they are adding Chris Letang, but this team just took too many hits, and I don't expect them to be doing too much. Now the Pittsburgh Penguins, on the other hand, massive moves. Ovi's coming to the team, Tim Stutzel, Johnny Hockey, and Sean Couturier, and that's just the forward core. On the defensemen, they're going to be replacing Chris Letang with Ryan Pollock, so I think they're still in a good position. And it looks like the Penguins are, because they're going to be picking up the first 2 goals of the game, but in the second period, Boone Jenner's going to respond, so we're entering the final 20 minutes in a 1-goal game. Late in the third period, Granlund's going to be giving the Pittsburgh Penguins a 2-goal lead, and they're going to be holding on to that 2-goal lead, so they're taking down Columbus in a 3-1 win. And it's only fitting with the Penguins taking down the Blue Jackets, they bring back one of their own, and that's going to be Chris Letang. With 2 matchups left, I'm making an executive decision, and that's going to be the Seattle Kraken taking on the Calgary Flames. The 2 teams are division rivals, so it only makes sense for these 2 teams to match up. The last matchup though, that's not going to make any sense. The Seattle Kraken aren't going to be adding or losing any players. Since the list was made 3 years ago, Seattle doesn't technically have any rivals. If I were to give Seattle 2 rivals, one would be Vegas just because they're the 2 newest expansion teams, and the other would be the Colorado Avalanche just because of the Cale Makar hit on Jared McCann. The Calgary Flames are going to be getting some massive upgrades specifically because they're adding Connor McDavid to the team, and when you add Connor McDavid to the team, you're definitely getting better. They're also going to be picking up Elias Pettersson and Kevin Fiala, so that's going to be some massive upgrades for this team. On the defensive end, they're going to be taking a slight hit, but they're still going to be adding Cam Fowler to the team. After a scoreless first period, Calgary's going to be picking up 2 goals in the second, while Seattle's only picking up 1, so we're entering the final 20 minutes in a 1-goal game. In the third period, Seattle's offense is clicking, and they're picking up 2 goals in 80 seconds, and with Calgary not having enough time to respond, Seattle's taking this one in a 3-2 victory. Of course, it's pretty obvious who Seattle's adding to the team. It's Connor McDavid. I'm not passing up on him. And our final matchup of the first round is going to be the New York Islanders taking on the Arizona Coyotes. These are the last 2 teams on the wheel, so they kind of have to play each other. This isn't a rivalry matchup, but nothing you can do. The New York Islanders are going to be adding 2 studs to the team, and that's going to be Matthew Tkachuk and Artemi Panarin. On the defensive end, they're not going to be adding anyone, but they still got a solid core here. The Arizona Coyotes, on the other hand, if the Islanders lose to this team, they should be embarrassed. Arizona, of course, is going to have absolutely no rivals because this is a poverty franchise. Nah, respectfully, there's no way the Islanders lose this game. So Ben Ritchie's picking up the first goal of the game, and in the second period, the Islanders and Coyotes are exchanging goals, so the Arizona Coyotes have a 1-goal lead entering the final 20 minutes. This Arizona Coyotes team, nah, you guys should be embarrassed. Luckily, halfway through the third period, Anders Lee's picking up a power play goal, so we're going to need a bit of overtime. So here we are early into overtime. It's 4-on-4 right now, and honestly, the Islanders should be absolutely embarrassed. You just lost to the Arizona Coyotes, a team that literally lost their 3 best players and didn't add a single soul to this team. Absolutely despicable. So what I probably should do is add about 4 players from the Islanders onto the Arizona Coyotes, but I'm not going to do that. We're just going to send Artemi Panarin there. I'm sorry, my guy, that's a tough look. So with the first round of the books, we're down to our final 16 teams. For this next round, you have to take on a team in your conference just so we can continue with the rivalry theme, except for one matchup because the numbers aren't even in the West and East. It's 9-7, so there will be one matchup where the conferences go against each other. The Philadelphia Flyers are looking to go on the move first in the next round, and they're going to be taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Philly's picking up the first 2 goals of the game, but Killorn's going to be responding in the first period, so it's a 2-1 game. Tampa's going to be able to pick up another 2 goals, and that's including another one from Killorn, so they got a 3-2 lead entering the final period. But Sid the Kid's not going to allow his Philadelphia Flyers to follow. He's picking up a goal with 5 minutes left in the period, and we're going to need a bit of overtime between these 2 teams. With 7 minutes left in double overtime, Joel Farabee's going to wrap around the net with the puck. He's going to send it over to Kevin Hayes, who's going to get a quick wrist shot off, beating Vasilevsky, and the Philadelphia Flyers are advancing to the next round. Before they advance, though, they're going to be taking 1 player away from Tampa, and that's going to be Andrei Vasilevsky. Sticking in the Eastern Conference, the Carolina Hurricanes are the next attacking team, and they're going to have their hands full with the Ottawa Senators. After a scoreless first period, Derek Brassard's going to get the goal scoring started, but Carolina's going to be responding with 2 goals in 20 seconds, so they've got themselves a 2-1 lead entering the second intermission. In the third period, Jesse Puljujarvi's going to be picking up his second goal of the game, so Carolina's going to cruise to a 3-1 victory. Although we didn't do too much for the Ottawa Senators in this game, we're going to still add him to the Carolina Hurricanes, and that's going to be Tage Thompson. Moving over west, the Arizona Coyotes are looking to go on the move next, and they're taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado and Arizona are going to be exchanging goals in the first period, and the exact same thing is going to be happening in the second, so we're entering the final period in a tie game. In the third period, though, Colorado's done messing around. They're picking up 3 unanswered, and they're going to be taking this game in a commanding 5-2 victory. Since there's really no one left on Arizona, I guess we'll have to settle for Artemi Panarin. And by rights, Panarin shouldn't even have been on the Arizona Coyotes, because they should not have beaten the Islanders. It doesn't even make any sense. A Pacific Division team's looking to go on the attack next, and that's the Vegas Golden Knights, and they're going to be taking on a Central Division team in the Winnipeg Jets. Vegas is going to be starting the game off with 3 unanswered goals, and after a scoreless second, Winnipeg and Vegas are going to be exchanging goals, but Winnipeg's not going to be able to get back into this one, so Vegas is taking it 4-1. And the Vegas Golden Knights continue to get stronger because now they're adding Nathan MacKinnon to the team. The Boston Bruins are the next team getting into a matchup, and we're going to have a good rivalry one as they're going to be taking on the Montreal Canadiens. The Habs and Bruins are going to be exchanging goals in the first period. In the second period, Pastor would be able to give Montreal the lead, but then Boston's going to respond with 3 unanswered, so they have a 2-goal lead entering the second intermission. But in the third period, we're going to see a massive collapse from the Boston Bruins. They're going to be allowing 3 unanswered, 4 in the period, but we got to make that 5 because Sean Monahan's going to be picking up the empty netter, so 5 goals in the third period is allowing Montreal to take this one. We already know Montreal has a bunch of great goal scorers, but why not add a few more? So Nikita Kucherov, welcome to the team. The Seattle Kraken are going to be featured in our next matchup, and they're taking on the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver's going to be coming out hot in the first period as they're picking up 3 unanswered. And after a scoreless second, Seattle's going to try to get back into this game with 2 goals, but they're going to be unable to, and Vancouver's taking this one 4-2. Once again, it was pretty clear who we're going to be adding to the team, and that's going to be Connor McDavid. The Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be the next attacking team, and they got to take on the Chicago Blackhawks. This is going to be the only matchup in the second round where we have an Eastern Conference team taking on a Western. Tim Stutzel's going to get the goal scoring started in the first period, but in the second, Tyler Johnson's going to be responding, so we're entering the final 20 minutes in a tie game. Eventually, the Pittsburgh Penguins offense is going to be waking up in the third period. They're picking up 2 goals, and they're going to be taking this one a 3-1 victory. Too bad you couldn't have done this in your second last game of the season. It's a tough look, what can I say? The Pittsburgh defense could use a bit more help, so Quinn Hughes is going to be joining the team. We've got our final matchup of the second round. That's going to be the Los Angeles Kings taking on the St. Louis Blues. After a scoreless first period, Draisaitl and Kapanen are going to be exchanging goals, and those are going to be the only goals through 60 minutes, so we're going to need a bit of overtime. It's not going to take long before we found our winner with St. Louis on the power play. Rantanen's going to be picking up the puck in the slot. He's getting a quick shot past Korpisalo, and St. Louis is taking this one. And from the Los Angeles Kings, of course, we got to pick up their lone goal scorer, and that's Leon Draisaitl. So we're officially down to the Elite 8, and it's a free-for-all now. Any team can take on each other. In the third round, Montreal's going to be the first team making moves, and they got to take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. In the first period, Montreal's picking up the first goal of the game, and in the second, Ovi's going to be picking up 2, but Matheson's going to be picking up another one from Montreal, so we're entering the third period in a tie game. And it looks like we're going to need a bit longer than 20 minutes because we're headed to overtime in a 2-2 game. In the final moments of overtime number 1, Montreal has a 5-on-3 power play, and when you have a 5-on-3 power play in overtime, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to score, and that's exactly what's happening with Kucherov one-timing this into the back of the net. And speaking of a guy that's good at one-timers, Alexander Ovechkin, welcome to the Montreal Canadiens. Vancouver's the next team on the attack, and they're taking on the Colorado Avalanche. We're going to see a ton of goal scoring in the first period, but after 20 minutes, Colorado is going to have a 3-2 lead. In the second period, the offense for Colorado is going to keep on rolling, and in the third period, Colorado's not going to need any more goals because Vancouver's not going to be scoring, so they're taking this one in a 5-2 victory. And I think we've realized the trend at this point. It's basically guaranteed that McDavid's getting to the final, because there's no way I'm ever going to pass up on Connor McDavid. Not a chance. Our next matchup's going to be featuring another Western Conference team, and that's the Vegas Golden Knights, and they're going to be taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Vegas is going to be picking up the first 2 goals of the game, but Owen Tippett's going to respond, so it's a 2-1 game. In the second period, Philly's going to be able to pick up another 2 goals, while Vegas is only picking up 1, so we have a tie game entering the final 20 minutes. JVR would give Philly the lead halfway through the third period, but it's not going to be enough because Jack Eichel and Mark Scheifele are going to be responding, and Vegas is going to be taking this one in a 5-4 victory. If Vegas truly wants to compete in the Final Four, we got to upgrade the goaltending here, so we're going to be adding Andrei Vasilevskiy. Our final matchup of the third round is going to be featuring the St. Louis Blues and Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina's going to be coming out hot in the first period as they're picking up the first 2 goals of the game, and in the second period, Teravainen is going to give Carolina another one, so they have a 3-0 lead. Alright, I get it. St. Louis has no offense left, so we're probably getting shut out. But that's what you thought, because who's going to be scoring in the final seconds of this game? Robert Thomas. He's getting a nice deflection with 3.8 seconds left, but it doesn't really matter because St. Louis is still losing. But it's good to see a guy like Robert Thomas getting on the board. Under any other circumstances, I probably would have added Robert Thomas to the Carolina Hurricanes, but we have Leon Draisaitl on the team. And I know for a fact if I added Robert Thomas over Leon Draisaitl, that wouldn't have been perceived very well. So here we are, we're down to the final 4, the Carolina Hurricanes, the Colorado Avalanche, Montreal Canadiens, and Vegas Golden Knights. So the matchups for the final 4 is actually working out pretty well as the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be taking on the Colorado Avalanche. So we have 2 Western Conference teams taking on each other, and the final 2 teams are going to be Eastern Conference teams. So that's actually going to work out pretty well. Colorado is going to be picking up the first 2 goals of the game, but in the second, Jonathan Marchessault is going to be responding. In the third period, Vegas was desperate and they needed to pick up a goal, so Jack Eichel is going to play hero. He's picking up a goal halfway through the third period, so we're entering the final moments in a 2-2 game. But in the final sections of this game, it doesn't look like we're going to need overtime. Connor McDavid's making a nice move. He's getting a shot off. Somehow this is going to get in between Vasilevsky's pads, and Connor McDavid's winning this one for the Colorado Avalanche. I added Vasilevskiy to this team to hold it down in between the pipes. And then he allowed a goal like that. That's a tough look. Before we get into our Eastern Conference matchup, we got to add one more guy to the Colorado Avalanche, and it's going to work out perfect because Nathan MacKinnon's returning to the team. So we already know what our final matchup is. It's going to be the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina's going to come out flying in the first period as they're going to be picking up the first 3 goals of the game. In the second period, Carolina and Montreal are going to be exchanging goals, but in the third period, Kasha's going to be picking up a power play goal, so Carolina's going to be making the final in a 5-2 victory. Before we get to the final though, we got to add one more player to the Carolina Hurricanes, and that's going to be David Pastrnak. So here we go, we're down to our final 2 teams. We got the Carolina Hurricanes matching up against the Colorado Avalanche. After a scoreless first period, Carolina's going to be picking up the first 2 goals of the game. Nichushkin's doing everything he can for Colorado to keep them in this game, so he's picking up a power play goal in the third period. But that lone goal from Nichushkin is going to be enough, and the Carolina Hurricanes are taking down the Colorado Avalanche. Not gonna lie, I was sleeping on the Carolina Hurricanes. Based on what this team looked like at the beginning of the video, I did not see them getting all the way to the final, let alone winning it. But here we are. Gotta give respect where respect is due.